God is raising up beautiful men and women, such as Prophetess Ruth Makandiwa, who are restoring hope to this world. If Prophetess was here right now, I'd give her a great hug. I'll do so much for her because words alone can't describe my gratitude. I know you often get thank yous from different people that you've helped every day. But may my thank you be special. May it touch your heart. May it remain with you forever, knowing that you helped me. Thank you so much. My name is Rumbidzai Chimanya. I was born on the 31st of August, 1996. I'm a third born in a family of 7 children. I'm the third born from my first mom. She passed away when I was 1 year old. And then the other 4 are my stepmother's children because my dad remarried again. We're all Zambians by birth and citizen, but we came to live in Zimbabwe in 2003. At first it was just a holiday. Then my father decided that we learned here because he also grew up here. He did his primary school, secondary school in Zimbabwe. So he wanted the same for all of us. We learned here in Zimbabwe. Me and my younger brother, we were well off. Our father provided everything for us. And we lived well. Until, unfortunately, my father was involved in a car accident. He was involved in a car accident trying to save my young brother who had been walking by the roadside and almost got hit by a car. It was actually a bus. He was amputated of his left leg, and ever since that day, he's been walking on crutches. My father stayed in the hospital for more than a year, and I never saw him that often because I was still very young. We would visit him now and again, but I always felt that emptiness, that he was not the. My father still struggles to take care of us and went on to work. He set up a business here as a marketer/engineer. Things were quite stable for him. Hence, we managed to pull through our primary school. And then in grade 7, when I was in grade 7 in 2009, my father decided to travel more. In 2011, he returned back to Zambia with everything, with all the properties. This left my father really bankrupt, moving back to Zambia, losing his leg, and taking care of us as we were all approaching high school. He moved back in 2011. Then in 2012, my older brother and my older sister decided to go back to Zambia too. I was in Form 4 when I first lived alone. I had to take care of my younger brother. I was his mother. I was the cleaner. I was also a sister, and I also had to go to school. I'm grateful to God that despite the hardships that we went through, my parents had introduced God to me. In that year, there was no one to tell. There was no one to discuss my problems with. I was alone. The only person I could turn to was God. God was all I had. All my trust I placed in Jehovah, and even up until this day, He's the only one I look unto. My brother would come from school every day and ask me for a bus fare because I'm the one who collected the money that our father would send. I'd give him the money, and if he needed something else for school, like a new exercise book or a new ruler to use at TG, I would have to look for it. When my brother fell sick, I had to take care of him. I would clean the house after school, and I would also cook dinner and wash the dishes. I would do the laundry over the weekend, and I would talk to my brother whenever he felt lonely. We'd go to church together every Sunday, and we became closer and closer to God. I'm grateful to God that despite the hardships that we went through, my parents had introduced God to me. Had it not been for the word that was so rich in my heart, I wouldn't have made it. It is not easy to live alone at the age of 17, knowing that your parents are in another country and not even a single relative would visit you that often. Nevertheless, I staggered on. I learned to be independent during those years. I learned that in life, the first person you put ahead of you is God, and everything else will follow. That year, I went to school. I never missed school. I never went naughty. I never changed. I would communicate with my parents whenever I could, and they comforted us often. I want to say thank you to the Lord that I managed to attain very high grades. I scored all A's in my subjects. I had a friend. Her name was Tanya. She has a son. She used to go to work every day. So during my O-level break, I would babysit her child, and she used to pay me every day. This way I saved money for myself, and I was able to sustain myself. Going back to A-level, I started school mid-term of the second term. People had already covered a lot. I was way behind. For the first time in my life, I actually failed a test during that second term. Nonetheless, I believed in myself. I knew myself to never be a failure. I've never failed anything. And I knew God would help me. I was doing divinity, history, and literature at A-level, and it was really hard at first. My mother paid half of my school fees for that second term and went back to Zambia, promising to send the rest. Life was really tough. It was really hard for me. I lived a very hard life whereby I'd cry myself to sleep and wonder if at all I was wanted in this world. I learned to trust in God so much because He was my only best friend and He was my only father. He was the only one I could turn to and talk to and share all my thoughts with. And the funny thing was, everything kept on working together for my good. That same year when I was in lower 6, I passed. I caught up with everyone in class, and I did so well with my school. I continued to work hard, and that year, I managed to beat every single lower 6 in the arts department. I had the highest points, and God was always there for me. The following year, I'd miss school sometimes because I did not have transport to go to school. The second term of 2015, when I was in upper 6, I could not go to school that week because my school fees for the second term I had started lower 6. The third term, the first term, and that second term of 2015 had not been paid for. I had a lot of accrued fees, and I could not register without having paid at least something for those accrued fees. I lost hope because I knew I could not ask my father, send me anything. I could not ask my relatives. My mother had a friend. Her name is Sister Glorious Mujkara, or Mrs. Odiambo. She had grown up with us since we were young. They were very close friends with my mother.
I knew Rumbidzai when she was very young. And they were also well up. They used to have their own businesses, doing their own things nicely.
I would go to her and she'd assist me here and there. I would go to her and she'd assist me here and there. And this time, I did not know what to say to her because she was also trying to raise money to send her children to university that same year.
When she was writing O-level, I had to give her money to write for O-level. But for A-level now, when she was writing A-level, I had no money. That time also things were all my 3 girls had to go for university. She came to me, she said, "Mama, I don't know what to do. I've tried everybody. I tried everyone. I cannot get the money. I tried everywhere I can, but it seems like maybe I have to postpone my A-level. Maybe I will write next year."
We went to our office and we prayed. We prayed a lot for God to help me. We had no idea what we'd do. The money I owed was close to $2,000 US. And I needed more than $200 to register for my A-level subjects. She told me about the Agape family care under Prophetess Ruth Makandiwa. She told me that she knew of a guy who had gotten 15 points and had received funding, a scholarship abroad to study pilotage. I wondered why she was telling me this because I did not have 15 points. I hadn't even written A-level, and I was thinking to myself, maybe I was not even going to sit A-level.
I said to her, "Mama, Mrs. Makandiwa, she helps so many people. She helps so many orphans. We have even seen her on TV helping them. Maybe if you can go and tell her your story, you might get some assistance."
Growing up, my father always told me the importance of education, and the thought of quitting school really struck me and left me really demoralized because I did not see a future without school.
She said, "Mama, let me go and try. Let me go and try." Then we prayed together. We prayed about it before she went. After we prayed, then she said, "Mama, I'm ready now. I'm going. Mrs. Makandiwa is a nice person. She has helped other people. I can see her helping me." Then I said to her, "Go."
My deadline for school fees payment was on that Friday. Before going home, I went to the office to ask them what they wanted. When I got to the Agape Family Care office, I was received with so much love. I was even wearing my uniform, and she could already tell that something was not right. I explained to her what was happening, and she told me that all would be okay only if I wrote my letter. Prophetess would help me. They told me everything that was required, and that was a letter, my photos, and my results certificates. Fortunately, I had all these documents with me, and I resolved to write in the letter immediately.
She told them her story and she left everything there. Then she came back. She said, that's what I have done.
I left these at the office and went home, still depressed. I could not sleep that night because my future was at stake. And I asked myself if God was really going to let me go down like this.
I said, fine, no problem. Let's see also going to try to ask from one uncle of his who was left. But it was just to go and try. Was this uncle also has got lots of children whom he is paying for school fees of his own.
The next morning, I woke up very early. I wanted to go and ask my cousin. He's my father's nephew. That day, I was going to demand that he helped me. On my way to his office, I was about to cross Robert Mugabe Road and I was passing NB, the shop. My phone rang. I did not want to pick it up. I did not want to talk to anyone. I just wanted to go where I was going. It rang and it rang. I did not want to pick it up until I looked at it and saw it was an unknown number. When I picked up the cell phone, almost on the last beep, I heard a voice of a lady, and she asked me who I was, and I said my name was Rumbidzai Chimanya, and I asked how I could help her. She told me she was calling from the Agape family care and that my school fees had been paid for. She told me to go and collect the receipts. I could not believe her. I thought someone was lying to me. I thought someone who knew my situation was lying, that everything had been done for me.
As she was going, she received a phone call. They said, are you Rumbidzai Chimanya?
But then I hadn't told anyone that I had applied at the Agape Care Foundation, and this had happened so suddenly. The response came so quickly. On the same day of my deadlines, my school fees, the accrued fees, and my registration fees were all paid for.
They paid for your school fees. They paid for your registration fees. They paid for your school fees second term. They paid for your school fees third term. I really thank God. I feel like crying right now.
I do not know how to say thank you. Even right now, I still don't know how to say thank you. Thank you, prophetess. You saved my life and my future, and I'm so grateful to God for you and for your life and for the work that you do. I really appreciate it. And I'm happy to say that because of you, I sat for my A levels in 2015 and I attained 11 points. Now I'm just waiting to go to university, where I also scored 100% scholarship at a university in Cyprus. Thank you very much. My father was happy. Some people were shocked. But I'm happy that God set a table for me before my enemies and showed them that His glory could be shown through me. God knows the plans He has for me. These are plans to prosper me and to give me a hope and a future. And though I thought I had lost all hope, God showed me that delayed does not mean denied.